We continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 1, text 28. Arjuna Vacha Drishtve Mam Swajanam Krishna Yuyutsam Samupastitam Siddhanti Mama Gatrani Mukham Japari Shushyati. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or in the demigods, whereas the non-devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualifications by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. So we can see nowadays we give so much importance to education or wealth or beauty. You know, all these are, of course, attractive qualities. But we don't see what actually are their qualifications. You know, do they have the divine qualities in them? That we don't care. We just get attracted by a person's wealth or beauty or fame or strength. You know, so a devotee, a person, a genuine, any man here, Prabhupada is saying, any man who has genuine devotion has all good qualities. Krishna says that once one becomes a devotee, then all the qualities of demigods get into him. And even if they don't come automatically, we should try to cultivate these qualities. We should. Tolerance, non-violence, honesty, humility, you know, dependence on Krishna. We should try to develop these qualities. As such, Arjuna, after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them, who had so decided to fight amongst themselves. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. And while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver and his mouth became dry. So, because a devotee is always compassionate. So here, Arjuna, he's feeling so much compassion that, oh, all these soldiers on the other side have come to fight against us, but they're all going to die. What's going to happen? And while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically, the whole community, all blood relatives of Arjuna had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna. Although it is not mentioned here, still one can easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's bodily limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but due to his soft-heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. So when Arjuna is crying, it doesn't mean he's weak, he's scared, or I'm crying out of fear that I'm going to die, or he's weak. No, he's so soft-hearted. That's how a pure devotee is. Srila Prabhupada had so much compassion for us. He used to cry for us, you know. And that's a characteristic of a pure devotee, their compassion. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akanchana sarver gunes tatra samasate suraha harav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sati dhavato bahihi. One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. This is because he's hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. Bhagavatam 5.18.12. So here Bhagavatam is saying that one who is a pure devotee, unflinching devotion, nishtha, unflinching, firm faith, firm devotion. He has all the good qualities of demigods. Means he has all divine qualities. But then one who's not a devotee, he has only material qualifications. No matter how much we might have some material intelligence, we might have, as we said, some way to have good logic, good, agility. There's so many other material qualifications. But all these are still going to keep us in the material world. So of what value is that? And we are still under the influence of Maya, still thinking we are the body. So a person in that position, although may be very materially qualified, but might not have these divine qualities. It doesn't mean if somebody is very famous, he has very, very divine qualities, or doesn't mean if somebody is very rich, has divine qualities. But a devotee has all the divine qualities. So we should try to become devotees. So we can also have a change of our heart. Our heart can change, because that's what's important. Text 29. Vepatuscha sharire me roma harshascha jayate gandivam shamsate hastat tvakcheva paridayate. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. There are two kinds of trembling of the body and two kinds of standings of the hair on end. Such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy or out of great fear under material conditions. There is no fear in transcendental realization. Arjuna's symptoms in this situation are out of material fear, namely loss of life. So trembling on the body when a devotee is ecstatically calling out to Krishna because he is in love for Krishna, his emotions are so engrossed in Krishna, he's calling out to Krishna with so much emotion, then his body trembles, his hair stands on end. This is a symptom of ecstasy. It's a symptom. These are like symptoms which pure devotees have. Some people try to imitate such things. Oh, they are crying, they're speaking Krishna's names and they're crying, or they're trembling or rolling on the ground. But imitation is not going to change our heart, It will still keep us here in the material world. But a pure devotee, they do experience these things. But here, Arjuna is feeling these things not because he's ecstatic, but because he has this fear that everyone's going to die. He's overcome by compassion of the fear of death. Oh, everyone's going to die. This is evident from other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow Gandiva was slipping from his hands. And because his heart was burning within him, he was feeling a burning sensation of the skin. All these are due to a material conception of life. So Arjuna, he was so affected. Imagine Gandiva bow. He would never keep his Gandiva bow. Once, I think, there's a story that Yudhishthir told him, keep the Gandiva bow or something. Arjuna got so affected, he was going to kill him. But now, Arjuna is so affected out in this situation that his Gandiva bow is slipping from his hand. But imagine, if you are faced, you have to kill your cousins, your loved ones, and you can see that in a war, majority, everyone's going to die. So it's not an easy situation for Arjuna to be in. What would we do if we were in his position? So we'll stop here for today.
Okay.
Any questions or comments?
No.
Okay. So let's stop here. Thank you so much for joining in. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Hare Hare.